Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive today into a stack of material all about fine-tuning your nervous system.
Yeah, specifically looking at that balance, right, between relaxation and arousal.
Exactly. Now, the sources, they start with golf performance, on the tour.
Right, but the insights are, I mean, they're universal, really.
Totally. If you've ever felt pressure or anxiety or just kind of lost control when it matters, maybe a big meeting.
Or a presentation, yeah. Or
Yeah.
just dealing with tough stuff day to day. This is definitely for you.
Absolutely. So our mission here, our deep dive goal, is to pull out the key nuggets from these sources.
Right. We want to understand why our nerves sometimes, work against us.
Yeah, how the body and mind react under pressure.
And crucially, what strategies these materials actually give us. Concrete things you can do to manage it all for, well, better performance, better well-being.
And there are some surprising bits in here, definitely some relatable moments.
Oh, for sure.
So to kick things off, the sources start with this really vivid story. Picture this. It's 1936. A player's just breaking into the golf business, facing that first tee shot. Big moment in front of top players.
Oh, the pressure. I can imagine.
And the description is great. It says the player's bending over, needing both hands just to get the ball on the tee.
Wow.
The ball looked blurred. Nerves just absolutely hopping. Can you, feel that?
Oh, totally. That feeling is so visceral, isn't it? Anyone who's faced a high-stakes moment gets that.
Definitely. And the strategy used wasn't, force yourself to concentrate harder.
No, it was something practiced. The material says it was about letting the mind kind of rest.
Right. Not thinking of anything particular, or maybe just sort of daydreaming about good drives, but vaguely.
Yeah, like a pleasant mix, but no dwelling on details. The source says it's more the trick of not thinking at all or letting the world go by.
And in that state, the ball isn't anything fearful, just a thing to hit.
Which is a great way to put it.
And the result, this seemingly weird approach. A 280-yard drive way past the others.
Boom. Yeah, that anecdote really nails the core problem we're digging into.
So why does this happen? Why do we seize up?
Well, when you're playing outside your comfort zone, maybe see your name high on a leaderboard, or just facing that anxiety, like the first tee.
Yeah.
Your nervous system can just get completely overloaded, neurons firing like crazy, thoughts flooding in.
The concentration just goes out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when you lose focus, like trying to read a putt or mid-swing even.
And the material warns that just acting indifferent to try and beat anxiety, that might not work either. Might just make you slack.
Right, it's not about pretending. What's really fascinating, though, is that even legends struggled with this stuff. Deeply.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the sources mention players losing serious weight before tournaments, skipping meals, eating late at night, all because of nerves.
Wow. Shows how physical it gets, even at the top level.
It really does. And here's a key point from the sources. Excitement and arousal are super common on tour, obviously.
Sure.
But, and this is the really interesting bit, excitement produces the same physiological arousal as fear.
Get out. Real.
Yeah, and that can totally derail performance. They give this example of a player who sees they're tied for the lead.
Feels that rush.
Exactly. And immediately hits their absolute worst shot of the tournament.
Ouch. So even good feelings need managing.
That seems to be the takeaway. Embracing anticipation positively, like, I can't wait to hit this shot, that can be good. Channels confidence. But the material warns that too much raw excitement, especially early on, can still throw you off completely.
So, okay, what's the goal then? Not high highs and low lows.
Pretty much. The sources say it's about maintaining a steady emotional state. Getting too juiced or too down both increase nervousness.
And they mentioned that with experience, people get better at looking calm, even if they're churning inside.
Yeah, that outward composure can be learned, apparently, even if the internal storm is raging.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. How does our nervous system actually fit into this?
Right. So we all inherit a kind of baseline nervous system style. Some people are naturally more relaxed, others more easily aroused. It's a spectrum.
And then experiences shape that.
Exactly. Our experiences, our habits, behaviors we learn, they all mold it.
And the main system here is the autonomic nervous system, sometimes called the peripheral.
That's the one. It controls all the involuntary stuff, breathing, heart rate, digestion, muscle tension, things we don't consciously manage.
I have two parts.
Yep. The sympathetic system, that's your fight or flight, the arousal side, and the parasympathetic, the rest and digest, the relaxation side.
Okay. So when danger hits,
Mm-hmm.
or even just the thought of danger, like failing,
Right. Your body senses that threat, real or perceived. Neurochemicals kick off this chain reaction.
Heart rate up, blood pressure up.
Muscle tone increases, breathing gets faster, shallower. Your body's prepping for action.
And here's a really cool insight from the sources.
Yeah.
Altering just one part of that chain, like your breathing, can actually affect the whole system. Slow your breathing down, and you signal the system to dial back the arousal.
It's powerful, isn't it? And it's the direct opposite of what usually happens under stress.
Which is?
Holding your breath or taking those quick, shallow gasps. We see it all the time.
Yeah, I do that.
Right. And that just mimics and reinforces the arousal state. So the fix, they suggest, is deep, slow breathing.
And specifically, making the exhale longer than the inhale, like twice as long.
That's the technique highlighted, yeah.
Right.
It really emphasizes the calming parasympathetic side.
So digging deeper, what actually triggers this arousal state?
Yeah.
The sources list 4 main culprits.
Okay, what are they?
Future thinking, anger, fear, and, as we discussed, excitement.
Right. Future thinking, constantly worrying about the score or the outcome of that interview or how the project will land.
Yeah, that definitely ramps up the nervous system.
Totally. Anger, that usually comes from feeling like your goals are blocked, right? Thwarted.
Makes sense. Fears, obvious perceived threats, fear being judged.
And excitement, even from doing well unless you manage it, triggers that same arousal cascade.
So it spills over, reduces performance. Top players, the material suggests, learn not to get too excited early on.
Seems that way. Staying anchored in the present is key. There's a quote from a legend saying the more their emotions swung, the worse their score usually was.
Interesting. And the effects of this arousal, they're pretty widespread.
Oh yeah. Impacts digestion, breathing, muscle tone, alertness. It can make you hyper-vigilant.
Like constantly scanning for problems.
Exactly. Which ironically makes it harder to concentrate on the one thing you need to focus on.
And this next bit is fascinating, how habits off the course carry on to it.
Oh, definitely. If you're someone who's always rushing, worrying about being late, feeling judged in daily life, that increases your baseline arousal, that internal hum of tension.
And that spills into your performance. Affects putting, swing tempo, routine.
Absolutely. It's all connected. They even mention how players who rush to the course often play better on the back nine.
Why is that?
Because by then, they've finally kind of settled down. They're mentally present.
Wow. And the consequences go beyond just the task itself, right? Sleep.
Yeah. High arousal messes with sleep. Racing thoughts, insomnia. It can affect sexual performance, too, reducing control.
And even health issues. Ulcers, migraines.
Prolonged high arousal can contribute to those, yeah.
Yeah.
Even seasoned pros talk about pre-tournament restlessness. It's common.
The sources also mention people who are always future-focused, even when, like, showering or driving.
Right. Living in that state of mental anticipation all the time. It keeps the nervous system revved up constantly.
Which increases baseline arousal and hurts performance when you need to be calm.
Exactly. So let's boil it down. What's the key marker of stress, according to this material?
Lots of control.
Bingo. If you're worrying about judgment, rushing, fearing outcomes, you're not in control.
Internally or externally.
Right. And that just tanks performance.
Which leads to the 2 types of players they describe.
Yeah, basically. Those who fear failure, they tend to rush, change routines under pressure, blame stuff. Versus those who embrace opportunity, they anticipate success, stay focused on their process, adapt to better.
And arousal creates this self-feeding cycle.
Totally. Breathing quickens, muscles tense up, thoughts race.
Which makes your swing faster, or you rush the task.
Performance drops.
Which makes you more anxious.
And round it goes, a downward spiral.
Okay, so how do we break this cycle? What's the path to control?
The path, as laid out here, is training. Training yourself to keep a singular focus and a relaxed state, especially under pressure.
And while some people might need a bit of stimulation sometimes,
yeah, they acknowledge under arousal exists.
The main focus here is on calming the system down, which applies to most of us facing pressure.
Definitely. And it's interesting, peak performers aren't necessarily faster. The material suggests they learn to slow down.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah. Deliberate routines, controlled thoughts.
And this isn't a quick fix, right? It's practice.
Absolutely. Mindfulness, relaxation, control, these are skills. They need daily repetition in different situations, practice, pressure, everyday life to become automatic responses.
And the goal of reducing arousal isn't just to be mellow, it's about performance.
Right. It quietens that sensory overload to the brain, lets you process information selectively, tune out the noise.
Get into that one shot at a time mindset.
Exactly. No score, no audience, no hazards, no worries from home or work. Just the task. Right here, right now, your target.
Sounds a lot like Eastern meditation or mindfulness.
Very connected. They use a putting example. You're standing over a crucial putt, mind wandering everywhere, just going through the motions.
Yeah, we've all been there.
The amateur might just hit it anyway, hope for the best.
But the pro...
The pro recognizes the lack of presence, steps away, gets mindful, and restarts the whole routine. Deliberately.
So the correction is clear. Notice it, step off, become mindful, restart.
Simple, but not easy without practice.
Yeah.
Now, some might say this low arousal training is just a Band-Aid.
Right, masking deeper issues.
But the sources argue it's only a Band-Aid if it doesn't also tackle focus, concentration, visualization, movement, confidence, routine, emotional management.
And the strategies they cover do address all that.
That's the idea. They're designed as a comprehensive system, tackling all these interconnected parts.
Okay, let's get practical. The sources lay out 9 specific strategies. Interconnected strategies.
Right. For reducing arousal, gaining control, on the course, off the course, anywhere pressure hits.
First up, number 1.
Breathing. Maybe the most fundamental. The material is blunt. How you breathe directly impacts performance and quality of life.
Relaxed is deep and slow. Anxious is rapid, shallow, maybe held.
Exactly. They even mention whistling as something players use because it forces a longer exhale, a deeper breath.
And the key technique is that diaphragmatic breathing. Hand on the stomach.
Yeah. Feel the stomach expand more than the chest on the inhale. And then on the exhale, do a body scan.
Like mentally check for tension from head to toe and release it.
Precisely. Forehead, jaw, shoulders, all the way down. Practicing this combo, the breathing and the scan, actively calms the nervous system, enhances visualization, relaxation too.
It reverses the physical changes of arousal, but you still need the mental side.
Absolutely. Cognitive strategies are vital. If your thoughts stay anxious, the arousal will just creep back in.
And they even give a way to measure arousal. Counting breaths.
Yeah, simple check. Count breaths for 30 seconds. 3 to 5 is relaxed. More than 5 suggests arousal.
And the practice frequency recommendation is kind of intense.
Yes.
60 to 70 times a day.
Astonishing, isn't it? Use reminders, phone alerts, walking through a door, hitting the brakes in your car. Practice it constantly.
During training, between shots, marking your ball, definitely in the pre-shot routine.
Yeah. They share that great example about playing in the wind.
Oh yeah, unconsciously holding your breath.
Right. Which hikes up tension, shows up in putting first, then the full swing.
Yeah.
Player noticed it, struggled. Next day, focused on deep breaths in the wind, putted way better.
Direct link. Okay, so breathing handles the internal state. What about the external? Movement.
Strategy number 2.
Yeah.
Movement. How you move reflects your internal pace. Arousal quickens everything, walking, swinging, talking.
So intentionally slowing down movement helps regulate the inside.
Exactly. It's not about being sluggish. It's about being deliberate, controlled. That calms the system, builds consistency.
Tour players visibly slow down routines under pressure.
The material notes that, yeah, slower, controlled motion preserves rhythm, improves coordination, especially for complex stuff like a swing.
So think about the setup. Shuffle in slowly, smooth waggles, feel the rhythm.
All right. Consistent setup helps build repeatable motion. Swing tempo often goes first under pressure.
So anchor it with rhythm, especially with shorter clubs.
Good advice. And rehearse the full routine on the range. Don't just bang balls. Simulate performance. Repetition builds that natural, deliberate pace.
The drill, they suggest. Practice shots deliberately slower than feels normal.
Yeah, or counting a tempo beat, like 1, 2, 3 for the swing. And be mindful of all movement, walking, marking the ball.
Slowing down keeps you present, sharpens focus, builds control.
Exactly. Which leads nicely into strategy 3, focused thought, or mindfulness.
Being 100% present. Not just avoiding distraction, but actively redirecting attention.
Right, training the brain. Notice when it wanders future, past, and gently bring it back. Now, over and over.
On the course, that means only the shot at hand, nothing else.
Yeah. Feel the ground, feel the club, feel the wind. Really notice the physical sensations.
And the technique of narrating actions. I'm walking to the ball.
That can work as an anchor, yeah. Checking the wind. Simple self-talk to stay present.
And when you lose concentration, the key is just notice it and reset.
Exactly. Step back, mentally or physically, become mindful again, restart. It's not about perfection, it's about the awareness and the return.
And practice this daily. Showering, eating, walking.
Bring your mind back to the sensations in those mundane moments. That builds the muscle for when pressure hits, creates calm, strengthens focus.
Combine it with breathing and movement. breath anchors, step grounds you.
Soft gaze reduces external noise. It's how you train yourself to access the zone.
Okay, number 4, visualization.
Creating those clear mental images. Programming the brain and body for what you intend to do.
Clearer image equals more effective.
That's the idea. Before a shot, see the trajectory, the flight, the bounce, the roll. Imagine the club motion, the sound, the feel. Then step in and execute.
Prepares the nervous system, builds confidence, reinforces intention-action link.
Right. And top players visualize the whole routine, not just the shot. Creates consistency. It also counters negative thoughts by giving the mind a positive success template.
And you practice this off course, sitting quietly, rehearsing shots.
Yeah. Replay successes vividly. Imagine handling tough situations, perfectly fast greens, narrow fairways. Give the brain a clear target. Limits distraction, brings clarity.
Combined with breathing and mindfulness again, breathe, quiet down, visualize clearly, then act.
Powerful combo. Next, strategy 5, routine.
Your anchor. Structure for consistency under pressure.
Provides mental comfort, physical readiness. Every successful performer has one. Its purpose. Consistent mental and physical state before every single action.
Key components. Evaluation.
Taking everything in distance. Wind, lie, target.
Precision club.
Shop shape.
Commitment.
Seeing that final image. Fully committing.
And then action.
Executing with breath, deliberate movement, rhythm. It's how you do it, not just the steps. Deliberate, breathe, feel the rhythm, use it to transition from thinking to doing.
And it's more important under pressure.
Absolutely. Stops you rushing, manages nerves, gives you a familiar sequence when your mind wants to race.
Calming rhythm. Breathe into the stretch. Slow movement. Don't force it.
Recommended ones are simple. Shoulder rolls, neck circles, torso twists, hamstrings, hips, forearms, wrists. Integrate into warm-up.
Not just injury prevention, but mind-body connection.
Right. Relaxed body helps a fluid swing. Better touch. Use it as a transition tool if you feel tension building mid-round.
Connected to that is strategy 7, posture.
How you stand and carry yourself. It talks to your nervous system.
Upright, balanced equals confidence, control. Slumped equals fatigue, doubt, tension.
That's the idea. Posture sets the tone for body movement, like in the swing, improves breathing, muscle engagement, mechanics, creates space for relaxed motion.
Become aware of habits. Hunched shoulders, collapsed chest, nervous weight shifting.
Those are physical signs of internal stress. Practice standing tall, relaxed shoulders, long spine, arms hang free, chest open.
Improves breathing, calms the system. A quick check in the routine.
Good idea. And maintain awareness between shots, too. Body and mind influence each other. Adjust posture, shift your mental state.
Practice with mirrors or video. Make good posture the default.
Exactly. For golf and just general poise. Okay, number 8, biofeedback.
Using instruments for awareness. Heart rate, tension, breath.
Right, to get objective data on how your body responds to pressure in real time.
So you use a monitor in practice, notice a spike.
And immediately apply a strategy, like deep breathing when your heart rate jumps.
Train self-regulation. Learn to bring the heart rate down consciously.
Over time, you get more attuned, can do it without the devices. Elite athletes use it for anxiety, focus.
And even simple awareness, noticing held breath, tight shoulders, that's a form of biofeedback.
Absolutely. The key is linking awareness to action. Feel it, see it, respond immediately with a calming strategy, turns unconscious reactions into conscious choices.
Okay, last one, number 9. Maybe the most crucial mental piece.
Confidence. The mental fuel, not arrogance, but a stable, quiet belief in your ability.
Built through preparation, awareness, and small successes using these strategies.
Exactly, and it's also a choice. Choose to trust your training, trust the process, use calm, supportive self-talk.
Doubt is normal, but manageable. Remind yourself of successes, visualize good outcomes, focus on the task, breathe, reset.
All good tactics. Affirmations help too. Done this before, trust the process, stay in the moment.
Reframe fear as readiness.
Right. And accept imperfection, handle mistakes constructively, learn from them. Confidence is your inner stabilizer.
So the more you practice all 9, breathing, movement, mindfulness, visualization, routine, stretching, posture, biofeedback awareness, confidence.
The more automatic they become. They're not separate tricks, they form an integrated system.
For managing arousal, regaining control, improving performance consistently.
Your best golf or best performance anywhere doesn't just happen. It's about mind-body harmony. These tools help you build that deliberately.
So bringing it all together, managing arousal, that balance, it's key, not just for performance,
But for better health, less stress, a more balanced life overall, whether you're on the course or just dealing with daily challenges.
So think about this. How do these ideas apply to pressure moments in your life?
Yeah, where do you feel your nervous system get kind of hijacked? Which strategy feels like a good starting point for you? Just pick one or two.
And here's that final thought, straight from the sources, for you to chew on.
Okay.
The material clearly states, loss of control is the key marker of stress. So if these 9 strategies are all about regaining and maintaining control over breath, movement, thoughts, your internal state,
Yeah.
what does it really mean to live with more intentional control? Not just over a task, but over your own internal world, your reactions.
Deep thought. Something to mull on, for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.